I'd like to once again welcome you to the groundbreaking of Educare of Washington, DC. We came to this community collectively, and as tradition with the Educare process, not to come in isolation, but to come and realize that there are things happening in communities all across this country, and to come in and to be a part of something that is bigger and greater than we are. And so it's wonderful to be in Parkside. And when we came here, we realized that there were some people on the ground who really had a vision about what it would take to create a wonderful community. And so it was a relatively easy choice for Bounce of Washington, D.C. to select as its development leadership team City Interests, because they were already here, established and working in this community and already facilitating some of the change that we hope to recognize. So if the Novaks and Peter would wave their hands so we could give them the appropriate recognition. We thank them for their leadership in this community, and we thank them for the fine work that they have done in creating something exciting. Alan said to me this morning, we are just going to have a lot of fun, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a lot of fun. We gather today to celebrate what we believe will change the life trajectories for thousands of children who will cross the thresholds of Educare of Washington, D.C. We not only believe that the Educare experience will change their lives, but we are brave enough and bold enough to believe that it will change this neighborhood, change the lives of children and families throughout the District of Columbia, and yes, we dare say, the lives of families and children across America. I'm Dana Jones. I am the President and CEO of UPO, where we unite people with opportunities. We are pleased to be the local partner with Educare. We are the local grantee of Early Head Start and Head Start. And that's the basis of all Educare centers. They start primarily with just that. They are Early Head Start and Head Start centers. We are excited to be not only local partners, but excited that so many of our partners from across the country in the Educare network have joined us today, along with a number of you who are our guests and dignitaries. I'm excited to see so many familiar faces and equally grateful to see so many friends and colleagues. We applaud this public and private partnership that has created Educare of Washington. Parents, school officials, Head Start and Early Head Start leaders, government leaders, and the private sector all have a stake in Educare. It's important to understand simply that we all have a stake in this. And we all have a stake in this because it's all of our responsibilities to make this a great nation. And at the core of what we do is about creating strong families that in the end will help create strong communities. And strong communities build strong nations. And that's what we hope to be able to be a part of doing in this community. Here in Washington, D.C., UPO, parents, and other family members, the mayor, the council, the schools, private philanthropy, all have come together to create this dream and to make this promise come true. I'd like to, at this time, acknowledge some special folks, and they're the folks from the grantee agency, the members of the board of directors, and the members of the policy council. Would you please stand and be recognized? They're a bashful lot, so it took a little while there. We would also like to, at this time, recognize Portia Kennel, Harriet Meyer, Diana Reiner, and Kay Siegel, also here from the Ounce of Prevention Fund in Chicago, where they created the first Educare program 11 years ago. Would they please stand? They are joined today by a number of staff and support team who made this event possible. I'd like to quote Portia because she's basically considered the mother of Educare. She had the vision to believe that not only was Head Start a good program, but we could make it even better. And so Portia often says it takes a village to raise an Educare. And that's certainly the case here in Washington because everyone here has had a part in raising this Educare. Now just be mindful that when she says that it takes a village to raise an Educare, that means that there are a whole list of people who will be called upon and recognized this morning because they're part of that village. And understand also that Harriet Meyer there had the nerve to do what my parents could not do, a select group of talented educators could not do, and that's to ask me to follow a script. And so I have this charge this morning of following a script and sharing with you the names of those who have made this possible. I would dare say that in many ways it would not have been possible to hold this glue together had it not been for one person who last night JB referred to as the man who had made it happen. And I think it would be in due process for us to recognize the president of the Buffett Early Childhood Fund, Dan Peterson. Dan, you stand. Dan, ever the optimist, normally ends every conversation with, "Is there anything you're worried about for tomorrow?" He didn't have the wherewithal, he hasn't figured it out yet, that the only thing I ever worry about is quitting because I don't know how to do that. I don't know anything about failure because it's not an option. And so when we got together, we knew that this would happen. And so, Dan, we thank you for your leadership and thank you for what you've done, not only here, but across the nation. There are 12 Educare schools opening across the nation. Educare of Arizona in Phoenix will be number 13, and we will open later this summer. As many as 5 Educare centers across this country will break ground this year. There will be new schools in New Orleans, in the suburbs of Chicago, and in the state capital of Nebraska. All of these schools are linked together with a common research project. This is research-based assessment, where we actually assess the outcomes of the children and compare them with not only the norms, but what our expectations are. For we really believe that we must challenge ourselves because we believe that the young people you saw this morning and their colleagues throughout this nation are untapped great human potential that we must come to realize and recognize has the ability to lead a great nation. And we also come to realize that something else. We all don't start on the same place, and we all don't start on an equal playing field. Educare attempts to create an equal field, an equal opportunity where every child can reach their maximum potential. And I think that as we go through this process, that's why we not only showcase best practices across this country, but in addition to that, we try to influence public policy. We try to get the rest of America to dream and envision what we envision. A world and a nation where every child has the opportunity to be a superstar, where every child has an opportunity to contribute to society and to be all that they can be. And so that's what brought us together today, and that's what has brought us to Washington. We're also joined today by many local and national early childhood policy advocates from the Birth to 5 Policy Alliance and from the First 5-Year Funds. Let's have them stand and let's give them a round of applause as well. How you start in life is critical to how you live your life. And similar, how we start this groundbreaking exercise is crucial to how our ceremonies will go, not only for this day, but how we plan to go forward. It was intentional that the first people that you heard from today were the children, because that's why we're here. If you ever lose that focus, then you've lost the game. We started with the children. If you remember nothing else about this day, remember that you saw young people lined up willing to share with you what they learned and what they were taught to present to you. Understand the great potential that is in each of them. And so we are thankful for them. And again, as more young people join us, let's salute them.